Hi everyone, I hope you are safe and healthy with your family and friends. In this video, we are going to learn about 11th standard accountancy chapter 3, the books of prime entry. This video, we are going to pass the journal entry with each transactions, okay. From third chapter, exercise question number 8. First, I have read the heading, then let me see each transaction one by one, how to pass the journal entry, okay. So, enter the following transactions in the journal of Manohar, who is dealing in textile business, okay. So, from now you have to see all the transactions of the journal entry as an accountant point of your business. Let me read the first transaction, that is 2018 March 1. Manohar started business with cash rupees 60,000. Here we come to know that Manohar started business with the cash rupees 60,000, right? In journal, at least we have two accounts are involved, okay. Now, what we have to see, what are the two accounts will be affected. So, listen the question carefully, transaction carefully. Manohar started business with the cash. So, first account is cash account will be affected, okay. How do we know? There is no doubt about that. Cash word is directly coming into this transaction. So we take first account is cash account is affected. One and another would be what? Another would be here Manohar is the owner of the business, isn't it? Because he invested the money. So we take capital account. Why we take capital account? Why? Because what is the meaning of capital? Capital is nothing but the money which is invested by the owner of the business. Here Manohar is the owner who is invested the money to start the business. So we take the capital is account is affected here, okay. So now we have two accounts what we needed to pass the journal entry. What are the cash account and the capital account? How to apply these two accounts, that means cash and the capital account, as per the rules of debit and credit? Let me see, discuss one by one, okay. First we take cash account, okay. Cash is comes under the assets account. If cash is come to in your business, what happen? Asset will be increases. What is the rule of asset? If asset is increases, what we do? We have to debit the asset account. That means we have to debit the cash account. So cash account will be debited. Then come to take capital account. In your business, capital is coming into your business. Capital is increases or decreases? Capital is increasing, right? So if capital is increasing in your business, what we have to do? What is the rule of the capital account? If capital increases in your business, you have to credit the capital account, right? So in that point of view, we have to credit the capital account. So capital account will be credited. So we have needed the affected two accounts. What are the? Cash account will be debited and the capital account will be credited. Now entry will be very easy. Entry would be simple. Now we present the journal entry, okay. Then come to journal entry. Before we going to start the journal entry, we have to write the book, name of the book. Whose book we are going to pass the journal entry? In the book of Manohar. So we have to write in the book of Manohar in the journal entry, okay. In the center of the notebook, top of the notebook, we have to write in the books of Manohar. And the next line we have to write journal entry. Then we have to write the format of the journal entry. The format contains 5 columns. What are they? Date, particulars, LF, debit and credit column. Okay, debit rupees and the credit column. Credit rupees. There are 5 columns in the journal. Now we pass the first transaction. Before that, what is in first transaction? Always we write in date column, we have to write year month and date of the transaction. Always we should write first in, we start the journal entry, we should write year, month and date of the transaction. What is the year is given here? 2018 March 1. Okay, noted. Then come to particular column. In particular column we have entered the account will be debited. What account will be debited? Cash account will be debited. Okay, so very close to the left margin of the particular column we have to write cash account followed by the abbreviation D or dot debtor. Against this we have to enter how much rupees? 60,000 in the debit column, the same line. Then come to next column of the particular, next line of the particular column, leaves few space away from the left margin, started with 2 prefixed, 2 word TO2. What account will be credited? Capital account will be credited. So we have to write 2 capital account. Against this we have to write 60,000 in the credit column of the same line. Do you have any doubt? Yes. What is that? Why we write the same 60,000 in the debit column and the credit column also we have write in the 60,000? Why? Because debit is always correspondence equal to the credit column. That is why what amount we mentioned in the debit column, the same amount we have to mention in the credit column. So in debit column we mentioned here, given the amount, what is the amount is given in the transaction? 60,000. The same 60,000 we have to write in the credit column. Are you clear now? Okay. Then come to narration. In particular column within the bracket we should write the narration. Narration means short descriptions of the transaction. Okay. So what we have to write? Started business with the cash or commenced with business with the cash. You have write the narration on your own words, but you should write the narration. If you don't write the narration, you will lose the mark. Within the bracket you will write the narration. What is the narration in this transaction? Started business with the cash. Then at the end of the narration you have to draw a line. That's all. First transaction is completed. Then come to next transaction. I have read the question. Okay, what is the question? 2 purchases furniture for cash rupees 10,000 rupees. On March 2, what is the meaning of 2? That means transactions. Manohar March 2 Manohar start doing one transaction. Okay. So March 2 purchased furniture for cash rupees 10,000. Look at here, what we comes to know, what are the 2 accounts are affected, will be affected. Okay. So listen the transaction carefully. Purchased furniture for cash. What are the 2 accounts are affected? One is furniture account and another one is cash account. How do we know? They are clearly given in the transaction. Directly giving furniture account and cash accounts are directly giving in the transaction. So we have take these 2 accounts to do the to pass the journal entry. Okay. Okay. Let me see one by one. First we take furniture account. Furniture account is comes under the asset account. Furniture and the cash account. Cash is also comes under the asset account. So furniture and cash both or comes under cash account. Okay. If you purchased furniture means you, that is if you purchases a furniture, if you purchases furniture, asset will be increases or decreases? Definitely assets will be increases. If you purchases furniture, assets will be increases. What is the rule of the assets? If assets are increases, you have to debit the asset account. So in that point of view, you have to debit the furniture account. So furniture account will be debited. Then come to cash account. If you purchases furniture for cash, what happen in your business? So cash goes out from your business. If cash goes out from your business, what happen in the asset? asset will be increases or decreases. If cash goes out from your business, asset will be decreases. What is the rule of the asset? If assets are decreases, what happened? What you have to do? You have to credit the asset account. If assets are decreases, you have to credit the asset account. In that point of view, you have to credit the assets account. That means you have to credit the cash account. So cash account will be credited. So furniture account will be debited and cash account will be credited. Now we place these two accounts into the journal book. Okay. So come to the journal book. How to pass these two accounts? First we have to write in the date column. What is the date is given in this transaction? 2. So we have write 2 in the date column. Then come to the particular column. What we have to write? What accounts we have to enter the debited account. What is the debited account? Furniture account is the debited account. So furniture account debtor, very close to the margin of the particular column, we have to write furniture account debtor. Against this rupees 10,000, we have to enter 10,000 in the debit column in the same line. Then come to next line in the particular column. Leave few space away from the left margin in the particular column. Started with 2 to cash account. What account will be credited? Cash account will be credited. So we have to write to cash account. Against this, we have to write what amount? The same amount 10,000. What we mention in debit amount, the same amount we have to mention in the credit column. Okay. So we have to enter 10,000 rupees in the credit column. Then come to the narration. What is the narration? Purchased furniture for cash. Within the bracket in particular column, we have to write purchased furniture for cash. Then close at the end of the transaction, we have to draw a line. That's all. Then come to next transaction. Let's see. Third question is 3 bought goods for cash. Now listen here. What is the question? On March 3, bought goods for cash. Purchased goods for cash. Rupees. How much rupees? 25,000. Look at here. What we comes to know? What are the two transactions are affected? In business, in course of business, bought goods means, in terms we don't use bought goods. Instead of bought goods, we have to use the term purchases. Okay. What is the meaning of bought goods? Purchases goods. Okay. So we take purchases account. What are the two accounts are affected? Listen the question carefully. Bought goods for cash. So one is purchases account and another one is cash accounts are directly given in this transaction. How much amount? 25 rupees. So let me see one by one. Okay. First we take purchases goods. So purchases goods means expenses account. Purchases goods comes under expenses account and cash goes to assets account. If purchases goods is expenses account. If expenses or increases in your business, what happen? What we have to do? What is the rule of the expenses account? If expenses or increases, you have to debit the purchases account. So as per the rule, we have to debit the purchases account. So purchases account will be debited. Then come to cash account. Cash account goes to what? Asset account. What is the, if you purchases goods for cash, if cash or increases or decreases, cash is decreasing. So cash is decreasing, assets will be decreases. If assets are decreases, what happened? What is the rule of the asset? If assets are decreases, you have to credit the assets account. So as per the rules for assets, asset will be decreases, cash will goes to credit account. So we credited the cash account. Cash account will be credited. Then journal entry would be simple. Now we present these two transactions into the journal book. Okay, come to the date column. What is the date is given in this transaction? Date is 3. So we have to write 3. Then come to particular column. What is entry will be debited? What account will be debited? Purchases account will be debited. So we have to write purchases account very close to the margin of the particular column, and followed by the abbreviation is what? dr. So purchases, we have to say purchases account debtor. Against this, what is amount is given here? What amount is given here? 25,000 rupees. So against this, we have to write, we have to enter, or we have to record 25,000 in debit column of the same line. Then come to next line of the particular column. Leave few space away from the particular column. What account will be credited? To cash account will be credited. So we have to write to cash account. What is the amount we have to enter in the credit column? We have to enter rupees 25,000. So in the same line. Then come to narration. What is the narration? We have to write in the particular column within the bracket. Goods, bought goods for cash, or purchased goods for cash. Then close the bracket. Then draw a line. The transaction is completed. Then let's see, the next transaction is 6th March. 6th March, bought goods from Kamlesh on credit rupees 15,000 rupees. Now this transaction is credit transaction. This transaction is credit purchases. What is the meaning of credit purchases? Credit purchases is nothing but in business that you have purchased goods from Kamlesh and you have not paid the cash immediately, but you have promised him that you will pay him later. That is called credit purchases. On March 6, you bought goods from Kamlesh on credit rupees 15,000 rupees, isn't it? Okay. What we comes to know? What are the two accounts are affected? So in transaction, listen the transaction clearly. Bought goods means what I say? Bought goods means we use the term purchases. So what is the first account is affected? Purchases account is affected. What is the next account is affected? Kamlesh account. So in the transactions is directly given. One is purchases account, another one is purchases Kamlesh account. Is given directly. So we take these two accounts. How to pass how to apply these two accounts like purchases account and Kamlesh account as per the rule of debit and credit? Let me see one by one. First we take purchases account. Purchases account means what? Expenses account. Okay. If you purchases, bought goods means expenses account. In your company, when you purchased goods, then what happened? Expenses or increases or decreases? Expenses are, if you purchases goods, any goods in your business, anything in your business if you have purchased, what happened? Your expenses are increasing, right? What is the rule of the expenses? If the expenses are increases, you have to debit the expenses account, right? So as per the rule, you have to debit the purchases account. So purchases account will be debited. Then come to Kamlesh account. If you bought goods from Kamlesh on credit, right? So Kamlesh is our creditor. Now you are the liability, okay? Then you are the liability. If liability is increases or decreases, you are the liability about what is, how much rupees? 15,000 rupees. So liability is increases. If liability is increases, what we have to do? What is the rule of the liability? If the liability is increases, you have to credit the liability account. That means you have to credit the Kamlesh account. So Kamlesh account will be credited. So now we places these two accounts into the journal entry. Okay. What are they? One is purchases account, and purchases account will be debited and Kamlesh account will be credited. Now entry would be simple. Now come to the journal entry. What is the date? We have to mention March 6. 6 in the date column. We have to write 6. Come to the particular column. What is what we have to write? What we have to enter? Enter what account will be debited. What account will be debited? Purchases account will be debited. So we have to enter purchases account debtor in the particular column. First line we have to write purchases account debtor. What is the amount we have to mention in the debit column? We have to mention rupees 15,000. So we recorded 15,000 in the debit column, the same thing. Then come to the next line of the particular column. What we have to mention? Account will be credited. What account will be credited? Kamlesh account will be credited. So leave few space away from the left margin of the next line of the particular column. We have to write to Kamlesh account. Against this, what amount we have to mention in the credit column? Yes, you are right. 15,000 we should mention in the credit column. We have recorded 15,000 in the credit column, the same line. Then come to narration. What is the narration? Bought goods from Kamlesh on credit. Right? Within the bracket we have to write bought goods from Kamlesh on credit. We have to close the bracket in the particular column. Then draw a line. That's all. This transaction is completed. Then let's see next transaction. What is the next transaction? On 8, sold goods for cash rupees 28 rupees, right? Okay. Now you are selling the goods. In course of business, you are selling the goods. Then what the term we have to use? Selling the goods. Instead of selling the goods, we use the term sales. Okay. Listen, what we comes to know? What are the two accounts are affected? So listen the, how do we find it? Listen the transaction carefully. Sold goods for sales. So here directly given that two accounts, affected two accounts. What are they? Sales account and the cash account. Okay. So we clearly say the two accounts, one is sales account, another one is cash account. Let me discuss one by one. First we take sales account. Sales means, sales comes under revenue. Sales means revenue. If you generate sales in your business, what happen? Revenue will come to your business. Revenue will be increasing. So in your company, sales is increasing, revenue is increasing or decreasing? Revenue is increases. So definitely revenue will be increasing. If your revenue increases, what we have to do? If revenue is increases, what is the rule of the revenue? If revenue increases, we have to credit the revenue account. That means we have to credit the sales account. Okay. Then take the cash account. Cash account goes under what? Asset. We know very well. Okay. So if you sales goods, what happen? Cash comes into your business. If cash is come to your business, assets are increases or decreases? Cash is coming into your business, assets are increasing, right? If assets are increasing, what is the rule of the asset? If the assets are increases, you have to debit the cash account, right? So we debited the cash account. Cash account will be debited. Now what we do? We have to place these two accounts. What are they? Cash account will be debited and sales account will be credited into the journal entry. Then come to the journal entry. What is the date is given in this transaction? Date 8. We have to write 8 in the date column. Then come to the particular column. What account will be debited? cash account will be debited. So very close to the margin, we have to write cash account debtor. What is the amount is given? Rupees 28,000. Where we write to rupees 28,000, we have to write in debit column of the same line. Then come to the next line of the particular column. What we do? What account will be credited? What account will be credited? To sales account. So leave few space. To sales account in the will be credited. The next line. Against this, what amount we have to enter in the credit column of the same line? Same 28,000. We have to enter in the credit column of the same line. Then come to the narration. What is the narration? Listen the transaction. What is the narration is given here? Sold goods for cash. So we have to write sold goods for cash in the narration within the bracket in the particular column. Then draw a line. The transaction is completed. That's all. Then let's see next transaction on 10th March. Sold goods to Hari on credit. Rupees what? 10,000 rupees. Okay. You have to make this sale. The customer who is promising you that to pay you later. That is called credit sales. Okay. Listen, what we come to know, that is what are the two transactions are affected. So listen the transactions carefully. We will find that affected two transactions. What are they? One is sales account and another one is what? Sold goods means what? In terms of sold goods means sales. We take it sales. Okay. In terms we take it sales. What is the another account? Hari account. So what are the what are the affected two accounts? One is a sales account and another one is Hari account. Okay. So in business you have to sold the goods to Hari on credit. Let me see one by one. First we take Hari account. Who is promising you that to pay you later? Now Hari is called as our debtor. Debtor comes under where? Asset account. Debtor comes under assets account. When debtor is increasing, assets will be increasing. What is the rule of the assets? If the assets are increases, we have to debit the assets account. So we have to debit the debtor account. Who is debtor here? Hari is debtor here. So Hari account is debited. Hari account will be debited. Then take sales account. Sales is our revenue. If you generate sales in your business, revenue will come to your business. So revenue is increasing. What happened? What is the rule of the revenue? If revenue increases in your business, you have to credit the revenue account. That means you have to credit the sales account. Okay. So sales account will be credited. So we now we present these two accounts. What are they? Hari account and Hari account will be debited and sales account will be debited in the journal book. Now come to the journal entry. What is in date column? What date we have to write? March 10. Okay, 10 number 10 we enter in the date column. Then particular column, what will be debited? Hari account will be debited. So very close to the margin, we have to write Hari account debtor. What is the amount is given here? 10,000 rupees. Have to enter in the debit column of the same line. Next line we have to write to sales account. What is the amount? 10,000. We should write in the credit column of the same line. Then come to the narration. What is the narration is given here? Listen the transaction carefully. Sold goods to Hari on credit. So credit sales, or you can write the same transactions into the narration. Sold goods to Hari on credit, all sales credit sales, whatever you want, you should write the narration in the particular column within the bracket. Then close the transaction. Draw a line, then close the transaction. Then let's see next transaction. What is the next transaction? 14 paid Kamalesh rupees 12,000 rupees. Listen the previous transaction. On 6th March we purchased goods on credit from Kamalesh rupees 15,000. Isn't it? Right. That means that was the credit purchases, right? We promised him that we will pay him in future. Now on 14th March you have to pay to Kamalesh rupees 12,000. Okay. What we comes to know that what are the two accounts will be affected. From this transaction, read the transaction carefully. Paid Kamalesh. That paid means cash paid. Indirectly telling what? Paid means cash paid. Received means cash received. Okay. We can find easily that two accounts. What are they? We can take cash account from paid and Kamalesh account. Okay. So cash account and Kamalesh account. We can take these two accounts. First, let me see one by one. First, we take Kamalesh account. Kamalesh is our supplier. When you pay to Kamalesh, then your liability will be decreased. What you do? What is the rule of the liability? If the liability decreases, you have to debit the liability account, which means you have to debit the Kamalesh account. Then come to cash account. Cash goes under asset account. If you paid cash to Kamalesh, what happened in the asset? If you paid cash, cash goes out from your business. So asset will be decreases. If asset will be decreases, what happened? What is the rule of the asset? If assets are decreases, asset you have to debit the. Asset will be decreases. You have to credit the asset account, which means as per the rule you have to credit the cash account. Okay. So now we present these two accounts into the journal entry. What are they? Kamalesh account will be debited and the cash account will be credited. Okay. So come to the journal entry. What date is given here? 14. In date column we enter date 14. Come to particular column. What account will be debited? Kamalesh account will be debited. So very close to the margin in the particular column we have to write Kamalesh account debtor. What amount are mentioned here or given here? Rupees 12,000 you have to write in debit column of the same line. Then come to next line. In the particular column, what account will be credited? We have to enter to cash account. So cash account, what is the amount is given? 12,000 we have to write in the credit column of the same line. Then come to narration. What is the narration is given here? In see the transaction. Listen the transaction paid Kamalesh. We have to write paid Kamalesh within the bracket in the particular column. So narration is completed. Now transaction is completed. What we do? We have to draw a line. This transaction is completed. Then come to next transaction. On 18 March paid rent rupees. How much rupees? 500 rupees. Look at here. What we comes to know, that is what are the two accounts are affected. Listen the transaction carefully. Paid rent, that means cash paid rent. Okay, so one is the cash account and another one is rent account. Let me see one by one. First we take rent account. Rent account means expenses. Rent comes under expenses account. If you paid rent, expenses are increases or decreases. If you paid rent, expenses are increases. Expenses are increasing. If expenses increasing, what is the rule of the expenses? If expenses are increasing, we have to debit the expenses account. As per the rule, we have to debit the rent account. So rent account will be debited. What is the next account affected? Cash account will be affected. So cash account goes to asset account. Okay. If you paid cash in the name of rent, if the assets are increases or decreases, assets will be decreases. What is the rule of asset? If assets will be decreases, you have to credit the asset account. So as per the rule of asset will be decreases, you have to credit the cash account. Now we present these two account into journal entry. What are they? First one is rent account will be debited, and second one is cash account will be credited. Now come to pass the journal entry. What we mentioned in the date column? 18. We have to write 18 in date column. Then come to particular column. What account will be debited? Rent account will be debited. So we have to write rent account debtor rupees 500 in debit column. Then next line we have to write 2 cash account in the particular column. What amount in the credit column we have to mention? Against this we have to write 500 in the credit column. Then next, what is the narration we have to write in the particular column? Rent paid, within the bracket rent paid in the particular column. Then draw a line. This transaction is completed. Then come to next transaction, 25 on 25th. Received from Hari rupees 8,000 rupees. So look at previous transaction. On 10th we sold goods to Hari for credit. What we have to know, we comes to know, that is what are the two accounts will be affected. That is cash account, and the next one is see the transaction carefully. Received means cash received and Hari. Okay. So in the transactions or two accounts are given directly in the transaction. One is cash account and another one is Hari account. Let me see one by one. First we take cash account. Cash goes under asset account. When cash is come to your business, received means cash is come to your business. If cash is come to your business, assets or increases or decreases? Assets will be increases. If assets will be increases, what we have to do? What is the rule of the asset? If assets are increases, we have to debit the asset account. So as per the rule, we have to debit the cash account. So cash account will be debited. Then come to Hari account. Now take Hari account. Previously on 10th March we sold goods to Hari on credit, rupees 10,000 rupees. Now he has paid us rupees 8,000 from that money. Okay. So he is our debtor. Who is our debtor? Hari is our debtor. Debtor comes under asset account. Now we received money from Hari. Do asset increases or decreases? Yes, asset will be increases. If assets are increasing, what we have to do? If assets, as per the rule of asset, if assets are increases, we have to debit the asset account. So we have to debit the Hari account. Hari account will be debited. Now we present these two accounts into the journal entry. What are they? Hari account will be debited and cash account will be debited. Then come to journal entry. To pass, what date is given in this transaction? 25. We have to write 25 in date column. Then come to particular column. We have to, what account will be debited? Hari account will be debited. Very close to the margin of the particular column, we have to write Hari account debtor. What is the amount? Rupees 8,000. We have to write in the debit column of the same line. Then come to next line of the particular column. What we have to do? We have to, what is the account will be affected? Cash account will be affected. So we have to write 2 cash account in the next line of the particular column. Against this 8,000 rupees we have to enter in the credit column of the same line. Then come to narration. What narration we have to write in the particular column? Received from Hari. Within the bracket we have to write received from Hari in the particular column. Then draw a line. This transaction is completed. Then let's see the next transaction. On 28 March, withdraw cash for personal use rupees 4,000 rupees. What we have to know? We have to know what are the two accounts are affected. So here look at the transaction withdrew cash for personal use, which means cash account is directly given in the transaction. We take first account is cash account and drawing account. Why we take a drawing account? Withdrew means withdraw cash for personal use, which means in capital, if you invested money in your business, that means capital, right? So in your personal use, you will take some amount from your capital, that means withdraw, that means we say withdraw. So drawing account, withdraw for personal use means in terms we write drawing. Okay, so withdraw for personal use, what the term we have to use? We have to use withdraw for personal use, we have to use drawing. So if you take some cash from the capital, what happening in the capital? Capital will be increasing or decreasing. If you take some amount from the capital, capital will be decreases. What is the rule of the capital? If the capital is will be decreasing, we have to debit the capital account, right? So we have to, as per the rule of capital, if the capital is decreasing, we have to debit the capital account. That means we have to debit the drawing account. Now drawing account will be debited. Then come to cash account. Cash account goes to what? Cash account goes to asset. So if you withdraw cash from your business, what happened to the asset? Asset will be decreases. What is the rule of the asset? If assets are decreases, you have to credit the asset account. As per the rule of the asset, we have to credit the cash account. So now we have to present these two accounts into journal entry. What are they? We have to pass these two accounts into the journal entry. What are they? Drawing account will be debited and cash account will be credited. Then come to journal entry. In date column, what date we have to write? What date is given here? 28. So we have to write 28 in the date column. Then come to particular column. What account will be debited? Drawing account will be debited. So we have to write very close to the margin of the particular column. Drawing account. What abbreviation will follow? Abbreviation is dr. Debtor, that means, okay. So drawing account debtor. Against this, what amount we have to mention in the debit column? Rupees 4,000. We have to enter rupees 4,000 the debit column of the same line. Then comes to next line of the particular column. What we have, what account will be credited? Cash account will be credited. So we have to write to cash account. Leave few space away from the left margin of the particular column. We have to write cash account. What amount we have to mention? Against this, rupees 4,000 we have to record the credit column of the same line. Then come to narration. What narration we have to write? Listen the transaction. Withdraw cash for personal use. We have taken the same word. We have write the same word. Withdraw cash for personal use. The narration is completed. Close the bracket, then draw a line. That's all. We paused the journal entry. Okay. If you have any doubt, please comment in the comment box. Thank you.